In the Biden White House, desperate to change the subject away from this massive self-inflicted wound, a crisis, of course, brought on by a politician who boasted of decades of foreign policy experience. Today, Biden didn't want anything to do with Afghanistan and made a pretty weak excuse to avoid taking any questions during a pool spray at the White House.
I'm not going to take any questions because of the Prime Minister being here on Afghanistan now, but I'll be available at another time.
I think the Prime Minister of Israel will be more than happy to listen to you take some questions. Frankly, it has a lot to do with everybody in the world. It relates to all of our allies. It's a big story, but the president didn't want to take any questions at all. The Biden handlers have effectively handcuffed the American president. We know he's not really in charge. We saw a lot of that yesterday, asking who he's allowed to call on. I've got my notes here telling me who I can call on. It's no surprise after that embarrassing performance, watching an aging and senile president exhausted, beat down by a horrible crisis that he and his staff created and are not ready to deal with. The president made Americans wait more than 7 hours yesterday to hear from him. And then there's Kamala Harris returning from a trip to Southeast Asia. Optics-wise, was so bizarre to go on this trip, and she is just all cackles at the airport. Take a look at the video.
Madam Vice President, are Americans safer? Thank you. Are Americans safer now?
They're screaming and cheering about Gavin Newsom, and you can hear a reporter yell, "Are Americans safer now?" Doesn't care, just walks away. All laugh, all fake, all phony personality, by the way. She acts like she's a fun-loving former senator. She never had any personality before she got into the White House or before she was running to be the vice president. Everything about that vice president is utterly embarrassing. This is a time to actually be serious, which is who she really is, and she's still out there joking around. Jen Psaki began her briefing today with COVID-19 for a room full of reporters eager for new information about a horrible terror attack. As our intelligence says, another one could be imminent. They start with COVID-19. Of course, Psaki was asked a lot of questions, many of which she batted off back to the State Department. We're preparing to hand over Afghanistan to the Taliban, an organization designated a terror group by the United Nations. They're going to have their own country now. You never really hear about them anymore because there's no reason for our media to care, but the Taliban commit acts of terror all the time. They blow up Afghans constantly. Weddings, police stations, innocent people, anything tied to the government, they kill everything that is not them. And they're about to be recognized to some extent on the world stage. That's how bizarre this moment is. Take a listen to the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Certainly the international community has a few very clear expectations and demands of the Taliban if they want to be even engaged with constructively and positively.
What we're seeing right now, a Taliban helping us guard our airport perimeter, this bizarre experiment we've been doing for the last 10 days, this is not the real Taliban. This is them on their best behavior trying to get us out of the country. This is the serial killer in front of the parole board saying all the right things, just trying to get out of jail. They just want us to leave. They are literally the deadliest terrorist group in the world. In fact, the Taliban perpetrated 2018's deadliest terror attack of the entire year of all the terror groups. They killed 466 people in one terror attack. That quote, by the way, came from a 2019 article that was criticizing Trump for negotiating with such a ruthless terror group, which is a fair criticism. But as we learned last night from General Kellogg, the Trump administration had a method of keeping the Taliban at bay while we pulled everybody out, while we pulled all of our equipment out, and even after we pulled them out. That was a great interview last night with General Kellogg. The Biden team threw away all of those well-laid plans and created an international crisis. So even though President Biden is trying to move on, nobody else is ready to move on from this. 13 service members killed, the single deadliest strike against our forces in Afghanistan in 10 years, the deadliest attack on any American forces in 10 years. As of now, just 9 of the names have been released. Lance Corporal Riley McCullum, 20 years old, from Jackson, Wyoming. There he is. His baby, his wife, was due to have a baby in 3 weeks. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, 20 years old from Wentzville, Missouri. This was his first deployment since joining the Marines in 2019. Lance Corporal David Espinoza, 20 years old from Rio Bravo, Texas. He joined the military right out of high school. Navy Hospital Corpsman Max Soviak, 22 years old from Berlin Heights, Ohio. Corporal Hunter Lopez, 22 years old from Riverside County, California, planning to join his parents at the local sheriff's department when he got done with this deployment. He was just days away. Lance Corporal Kareem Nakui, 20 years old from Norco, California, survived by his parents and 3 siblings. Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover, 31 years old from Salt Lake City, Utah, spent 11 years as a Marine. Corporal Dagan William Tyler Page, 23 years old from Red Oak, Iowa, planning to go to trade school after his time in the Marines. Army Staff Sergeant Ryan Noss, 23 years old from Knoxville, Tennessee, remembered by his family as a super hilarious young man. That's 9 of the 13. That's what we have so far. We're so proud of these men. We send our most and our deepest heartfelt condolences and thank you to their parents, to their families, in some cases their wives, their girlfriends. The bravery of those men and those who continue to guard that airport is unparalleled. It is tremendous, the work that they're doing. And this is the real cost of a president who doesn't have a clue what he is doing. This is one of the few times that most Americans are on the same page. Even Obama officials can't help but to criticize this administration. This is from the Republican National Committee.
It has created a global crisis, quite frankly.
You cannot defend the execution here. This has been a disaster.
Well, they clearly were caught off guard by the events over the last 72 hours.
How his decision was made to withdraw, but then its execution, which has been so far catastrophic.
Our national security is threatened.
This is a Dunkirk moment, or perhaps a Saigon moment.
This tragedy was completely preventable.
Nobody wants the Saigon image, and obviously we ended up with another Saigon image.
A lot of big names in there, a lot of big names that are used to defending Democrats and still saying stuff like that. At a time when we are this polarized, this situation has managed to move beyond partisan politics. And almost no story right now, let's be honest. What stories actually move beyond partisan politics? No matter what happens, the Democrats and Republicans defend their own right now, right? We're that drawn apart. On this story, they cross the line. Democrat Senator Bob Menendez, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, is launching an investigation into the withdrawal, saying in part the committee will seek a full accounting for these shortcomings. Over in the House, Democrat Congressman and head of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Gregory Meeks, invited Anthony Blinken and Lloyd Austin to testify. Democrat Senator Mark Warner on the Intelligence Committee also willing to probe for answers. When something goes this badly, there needs to be a level of accountability, and luckily we're seeing that in government. They want to go after the truth here and find out just how bad and how ugly this thing was, and it seems like it was pretty awful. One of the things that'll certainly be investigated was the abandoning of Bagram Air Base, which we have learned was a massive mistake, one that led to thousands of ISIS prisoners being released, some of them likely involved in yesterday's massacre to some extent. Those are mostly Senate investigations we listed. As for the House of Representatives, well, Nancy Pelosi hasn't yet canceled the recess. They're on one of their nice big vacations right now. And I guess why would she? We're just dealing with a huge crisis in Afghanistan. As of now, the House is set to be out of session until late September.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.